When Conrad asks Belly about the Deb ball, it is not about his own feelings or opinion on the Deb ball. Although, if it was, I kind of agree. I think Deb balls and beauty pageants are kind of. What this is really actually about is Belly. Because what we're seeing between these two characters, the same reason why Belly was so pressed he was smoking, it's an opportunity for both of them to say, without actually saying it, hey, I know you, and you're being different. This isn't you, and calling them out on it. And he says this, and you look at those eyes, you look at that face, he knows her. At times, he knows her better than she knows herself. And at times, Belly knows him better than he is aware of his own self. That is what they do for each other. They challenge each other. They know and pay attention to each other, and they call each other out when the other is putting on a facade or doing something uncharacteristic of them. I think that Conrad had the best of intentions with this, and I think he wanted to protect Belly because, like we talked about in part 1 of this series, Conrad is the Fisher family golden child, and his entire life he's been pressured to be this perfect oldest child. You can see this word for word on the 4th of July. When anyone gets hurt, when something goes wrong.
I want to talk about this scene, which is Cam Cameron's big return in season 2, episode 4, and the body language that Conrad is showing right there. When Belly says that Cam's uniform looks very official and very cool, we see Conrad cross his arms, take a deep breath and exhale, and look away. That is a sign of somebody who's jealous. He was very jealous in the moment that Cam was back, and it probably took him back to last summer, seeing Belly with Cam again, as we know that they did have their little relationship last summer. Another time we see jealousy is in this scene right here, not by one person, but two of them. When Trusky brings up Sophie and that says that Conrad and her are tight, Belly looks away and avoids eye contact with the situation. When Trusky brings up the fact that Conrad always was looking at Belly's picture after their breakup, Jeremiah then looks away and avoids eye contact as well. So this is another sign of body language jealousy in two other characters. So let me know what other body language you picked up on during this season. Let's talk about this moment in season 1, episode 3, because this is actually really, really interesting and very important. Belly tells Cam that Susanna compares Jeremiah to a golden retriever. And Cam said he exudes a little bit more border collie to me. Well, border collies are known to be destructive, behavioral issues, aggressive, high energy, smart, manipulative, clingy, obsessive, hyperactive, and analyze every moment. So I find this very interesting because he is manipulative, and we see these traits from him as his character goes on. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Jenny just being Jenny again.
Okay, so that is a good question. How do we think Jeremiah will find out about Belly and Conrad's little Christmas moment between the two? I personally, I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, obviously it can happen in the several ways. He could find out accidentally through Taylor, and by that I mean, like, maybe they're having a conversation. Jeremy goes to Taylor, let's say, to talk about Belly and some of the issues that they're having, trying to figure things out, maybe trying to get, some sort of guidance from Taylor, and maybe with regards to them not, sleeping together, Taylor accidentally slips that, it could be because of what happened with Conrad, and maybe she's still holding back. So she accidentally maybe lets it slip to him, and that's how he'd find out. And then she'd be like, oh, I thought you already knew, kind of a thing. The other thing about that is, I don't know how comfortable they wouldn't have Jeremy be with Taylor to actually talk about them not sleeping together. So, I mean, I don't know. it could go both ways because I can see him just talking to anybody about that because he has such a mouth on him, but I don't know if he would go to that lengths to talk about the intimacy between him and Ballet to Taylor, so it's like 50-50 for me. Another way is that Belly is the one that actually ends up telling Jeremiah about losing her virginity to Conrad. I can see a situation where Belly and Jeremiah are attempting to move things further along, and she ends up holding back. Jeremiah assumes it's because she's still a virgin, and in that awkward moment, Belly then confesses is that no, she's actually in fact not a virgin, and that she did lose her virginity to Conrad, obviously. So I can see it play out that way. But again, it's like, I think it'll be either 50-50 or completely something different that I can't come up with in my own brain at this moment. So, Jenny's a writer, so I'm sure she'll figure out something interesting. But I do think it'll be an important moment in the relationship, obviously, because, it's a big deal. She lost her virginity to her brother, and it should be a big deal. It's very messy, this whole brother and brother situation. It's just, it is what it is. How do you guys foresee Jeremiah finding out about the Christmas dalliance between Belly and Conrad? Let me know in the comments below.
Yes, he does. And it's such a good monologue because it sort of explains what his headspace was in, like, during this. And, like, even during their relationship. And he, like, even says to her, like, 2 years ago, I fucked up. Like, I really messed us up. Like, it was on me kind of thing. Which, between you and me, it was. And the thing that gets me, so he has this brilliant monologue, which, like, maybe I'll include. But then the next day, he takes it back again. Like, it's his MO to take it back, and she's so pissed. She's so pissed. As she rightfully should be, right? She rightfully should be pissed. Like, he's like, I was drunk. I didn't mean it. Like, that bullshit that he did in season 1, like that gaslighting. Anyway, it is a great monologue, but then he proceeds to take it back, and that's why they then need to have this extended break from one another when she, goes to Spain, or maybe she'll go to France, and he finishes medical school and all this kind of stuff. So he does. So it's a great monologue, but at the same time, he says all this stuff like, I fucked up, I was so angry, I didn't have it in me, like, I wasn't in the right mindset to love you, which is everything he should have said to her here. Not even here, like, back at prom and back at the funeral, like, I didn't have the capacity to love you. It wasn't you, it was me. But he actually said to her at that time, I regret it, you were a mistake, which, so damn it.
2 years ago, this was all I wanted to hear from him. But it was too late now. Quietly, he said, 2 years ago, I fucked up. But not in the way you think. That night, do you remember that night? The night we were driving back from school, and it was raining so hard we had to stop at that motel? Do you remember? I remembered that night. Of course I did. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I stayed up thinking about what to do. What was the right thing to do, because I knew I loved you. But I knew I shouldn't. I didn't have the right to love anybody then. After my mom died, I was so pissed off. I had this anger in me all the time. I felt like I was going to erupt any minute. He drew his breath in. I didn't have it in me to love you the way you deserved. But I knew who did. Jer. He loved you. If I kept you with me, I was going to hurt you somehow. I knew it. I couldn't have it. So I let you go. Will you just forget everything I said? He flashed a slight, ironic kind of smile. I wanted to smack the smile off his face. I was out of my mind last night, drunk off my ass. Being here again, it just brought back a lot of stuff. But it's all ancient history, I know that. Honestly, I can barely remember what I said, but I'm sure that whatever it was out of line. I'm really sorry. For a moment, I felt such rage, I think I forgot how to speak. I found it was hard to catch my breath. I felt like a flopping goldfish, opening and closing